what's up guys? My name is Cartoonz, and today I'm going to be talking about the 5.2 patch in World of Warcraft and the mage changes. I know that this is a little bit of a controversial topic since there's so many changes in mages. There's actually a lot of changes in a lot of classes right now, so I thought I would be able to talk about at least the mages and give you a little bit of insight on what to expect in 5.2. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be on the PTR on this. I'm just going to be comparing the patch notes, which I've linked down in the description for you, as well as I'm going to be showing you like the live version of 5.1 that I've got on the screen here, and I'm going to be showing you the comparisons. So we're going to go ahead and start with the spell called Invocation. Since that's the first on the patch notes, that's what we're going to be starting with. We're going to just go down the list. Invocation is changing a lot. What it's pretty much doing is it's, instead of right here where it says Invocation reduces the cooldown to 10 seconds, and you passively regenerate 50% less mana, which mana doesn't even matter. Like, it's not even an aspect in the game right now. It's because, I mean, you never run out of mana, ever. So, unless you, like, spam spell steal or something. But completing any evocation causes you to deal 25% increased spell damage for 40 seconds. What it's changing to is it's changing over to Invocation now removes all of the cooldown on evocation, which means there's no 10-second cooldown, there's literally no cooldown. And it reduces its channeling time and duration by 50%. That's a big change. As you can see from my evocation now, over on the right side of the screen, it is a 5.72 second cast. It'll be reduced to, depending on how much haste you have, less than a 3-second cast. That's really good. I mean, that means you can literally spam evocation, from what I understand. And when you finish an evocation, it grants you 15% increased damage instead of 25%, so that's a little bit of a nerf, because the current one is 25% increased spell damage. So it'll be interesting to see what the majority of mages do, kind of change over to invocation. I'll probably try it out and see how it works, but Incanter's Ward's really good, just because of the 30% increased spell damage you get. That's a lot. I mean, that is a lot, and it's about a 20,000 spell damage, or spell absorb spell, whatever. So I guess let's go ahead and move on to the Greater Invisibility. Greater Invisibility, okay, now has a 90-second cooldown, and it was 2.5 minutes, so that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't use Greater Invisibility, but it's pretty cool. For mages that do use it, I guess, it's just a shorter cooldown. It means you can use it more often. Good. Okay, let's move on to Frostbolt. Frostbolt cast by mirror images now deals 50% more damage. Okay, that's cool. I mean, I can come over here and test it right now. Like, I'll just pop mirror images on this little panther thing, and they're casting Fireball, but they pretty much cast about the same damage, because I'm Fire Spec right now, but it's about the same damage as Frostbolt, just like a little bit less. It's like 2.9k to 3k, so now it's just going to, deal 4.5k. It's not a big deal. But let's go ahead and kill this thing and then move on. Here's a big one. Now, let me talk about this. Improved Counterspell has been removed. That's a big one. They are removing our 4-second silence, which means they only want us. This is Improved Counterspell has been in the game for as long as I can remember. So for them to literally just remove it is really big. Like, it's a huge change to mages. That means we can't do a 4-second silence. That takes away. We have a deep freeze, I guess. Lower. Oh god, there's like an elite killing my face. But we have a deep freeze, which is 4 seconds. Okay. But now we don't have an improved counterspell, which means we don't have a CC chain. I know that Blizzard was talking about wanting to change the game so that you didn't have to fully CC a target to be able to kill him, which means that they want straight up damage, I guess. I don't know. But since we don't have a silence, which means we only have to rely on deep freeze, and I guess like a Dragon's Breath and a Ring of Frost, but like we can't really use those to just spam damage into people unless you just want to use it as like an interrupt. But oh well, I mean, that's a really big change. It sucks, but what can you do about it, I guess. Oh well, I mean, that's a huge change. That's a really, really big nerf for mages. It's going to make them a lot less viable compared to like other classes that have a ton of instant CCs, like hunters with their silencing shot. I know that their silencing shot is being increased to 24-second cooldown from 20, but that's not removing silencing shot. It's whatever. But let's go ahead and move on. Glyph of Fire Blast. Okay, Glyph of Fire Blast has been replaced with Glyph of Inferno Blast. Glyph of Inferno Blast causes damage over time. Effects spread by Inferno Blast to spread to one additional target. From what I understand right now, it's 2 targets, so I guess it'll just spread to 3 targets, and that's about all. I guess that they're just removing Glyph of Fire Blast altogether. I don't know, it's funny that went from the top glyph to use to not very good because Frostbomb was nerfed so hard, and now it's just being removed altogether. Big changes, I guess, over patches, but dang, they're really, really changed in the game. And I'm not frustrated with the state of any kind of class. Yeah, sometimes it gets frustrated to be instantly killed by a target or just CC'd forever, whatever. That can be frustrating. But I guess when I take a step back and look at it all, I get more frustrated with the fact that we have to make these changes. That these changes need to be made, and that there's so many of them. That's what bothers me, is that it wasn't handled before the season started. This makes the season inviable, but it does set it up for on the positive side. It does set it up better for future seasons. But for now, it's pretty much just how can we take this seriously if we know the whole game is going to change? Oh well. But that's just my opinion on it anyways. But Blazing Speed can now be triggered at will. It's funny that they started it with you had to be damaged by a melee or a spell hit for 2% of your health, and then they just went down to any melee or spell hit, so you just can't use it, and now they're just making it so you can use it at any time. Ice Barrier will probably still be the top, though, just because of how much it absorbs and the low cooldown. It's just a nice spell. So I wouldn't expect many mages to switch over to Blazing Speed, but I can assume that some people will. So that's good. Cold Snap is being nerfed. Cold Snap is being cut in half. It only heals for 15% of your health. It used to heal for 30% of your health. So I guess that's a pretty straight up nerf, but oh well, there's nothing to really say about that. And then Ice Flows now has a 45-second cooldown, and it was 1 minute. Personally, I don't like Ice Flows. I used to in beta. I used to use it, but it's a 4-second duration, it's not. It's about a 4-second duration, and it's really not very good. I don't find the low duration spell. If I were to use Ice Flows, I would have to cast 2 spells to be able to make it viable, as opposed to as Fire, obviously you could use Scorch, and as Frost or any spec really, you could use Presence of Mind, because Presence of Mind is crazy good. I use it as my Frost spec, but obviously since I'm Fire, I have to use Scorch. Some people use Presence of Mind as Fire, but I choose Scorch. So, oh well. Let's move on. Scorch, Speak of the Devil, is now a 3.5% of base mana spell, was 0.1%. I still don't think that'll be a big deal because mana is just not even a problem right now. For mages anyways, we never run out of mana. We never go to under 50%. Even when I spell steal regularly in an arena, I never go below 50% mana. It just never happens. But obviously, if you want to do the math, Scorch is 300 mana right now. Times that by 35. So whatever. I'm not gonna try to do math. I'm too lazy for that one. But let's go ahead and move on to Arcane. Arcane Blast mana cost has been increased to 1 2/3% of base mana. It was 1.5%. And Frost, that was all for Arcane. But for Frost, Frostbolt now deals 24% more damage. That's a little bit of a buff. Since, yeah, you cast Frostbolt, but not a ton. But I could see that you could use it more now. But its debuff no longer increases subsequent Frostbolt damage. So that means that stacking debuff that you get on Frostbolt when you hit on targets, it doesn't increase your Frostbolt damage anymore. It just is a flat rate 24% buff, pretty solid. So that'll be cool. And then Water Elemental Freeze no longer does damage and provides Fingers of Frost on a successful freeze. That's good. That's good. I like that Freeze doesn't do damage instead of doing 300 damage. For example, when you put a Ring of Frost on a target and you freeze them 3 seconds or 4 seconds after the Ring of Frost, then it'll break the Ring of Frost. So it kind of takes out that little gap that if I were to Ring of Frost a target and then I'm going to cast a Shatter into them, but I'm going to put a freeze down, like a pet freeze down. From the time that my Shatter combo hits the target, and the little availability he has from the freeze breaking the Ring of Frost, he has that little bit of a gap before the Frostbolt reaches the target, because of the freeze breaking the Ring of Frost, since it does like 300 damage. He could cloak for a rogue. I mean, he could spell reflect. You could do anything. So you have that little bit of a chance, and that takes away that little bit of a chance for other people to do to negate like a Shatter combo or something like that. So I'm okay with that, and I think it's really cool. But for right now, guys, that is the unofficial patch notes for 5.2, and I wanted to share that with you. Pretty cool. I mean, it's interesting how many changes they're making, like I said earlier in the video, but I'm not going to repeat myself. So, anyways, guys. Oh, yeah. Gamersbook.com. They wanted me to share something with you. They're doing a giveaway for like a bunch of these copies of Mists of Pandaria for those who don't already have it. They're giving away the collector's edition. I think it's something like 4 collector's editions, and they're all signed by the development team. So that's really cool. I mean, I'm going to enter myself, so I want you guys to head over there and, you know, maybe win a free prize. I'd rather like one of my fans win it than just some other person, you know. But I'm going to put that in the description for you guys. So go check it out, and I will see you guys next time. Cartoonz out. Feel free to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you would like to see more. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos, and I'll keep you updated on the 5.2 patch notes. So, Cartoonz out.